I never thought a curtain could hold so many secrets. But the moment I saw Paul leaning behind it, a shiver ran down my spine, and I knew I couldn't walk away. The velvet was thick, deep crimson, hiding him almost completely. Yet I could see the glint of his eyes catching the dim golden light, and my heart raced before my mind even caught up. Paul had always been magnetic, but tonight, there was a charge in the air I couldn't ignore. I stepped closer, hesitant, feeling the warmth of the small room wrap around me. The soft hum of the city beyond the heavy drapes was nothing compared to the quiet tension between us. Every breath I took seemed amplified, and every movement felt deliberate. He didn't speak, just tilted his head in that way that made me forget how to breathe. I realized, suddenly, that I had always been walking around blind to the way he made me feel. Each glance, each smile, every little gesture had been pulling me here, to this exact moment. The scent of him, warm, faintly musky, familiar, filled the space. I couldn't step back, even if I wanted to. My hands trembled slightly, and he noticed a slow smile spreading across his lips. "You're finally here," he whispered, soft but deliberate. It sent another wave of heat through me. I didn't answer. Words weren't enough. We stood there, inches apart. The velvet between us felt like it was breathing. It wasn't just a curtain. It was a barrier that, once removed, would change everything. I remembered the first time I had really noticed him. A simple touch, a casual glance, and it had thrown my entire world off balance. Now, as I stared into his eyes behind this heavy fabric, I realized how long I had been denying myself the truth about what I wanted, what I felt. Paul reached out, brushing a strand of hair from my face. That single touch, so light, so innocent appearance, made my chest tighten. My mind screamed to pull away, to be rational, but my body refused. I had no choice but to lean closer, drawn by something stronger than any thought or reason. "Do you even know why you're here?" he asked, voice husky yet controlled. There was a teasing edge in his tone, like he was enjoying the power of knowing me better than I knew myself. I shook my head, but my eyes never left his. He stepped closer, our shoulders brushing. The air between us thickened. I wanted to speak, to confess some fraction of the longing that had been building for months, but my words felt trapped in my throat. Instead, I let my eyes do the talking. He smiled knowingly, understanding the silent language we'd been practicing for months. I felt his hand near mine, fingertips barely touching. Every nerve in my body screamed. "You've been resisting it too long," he murmured. I wanted to deny it, to claim control, but the truth was undeniable. I couldn't resist him. Not now, not ever. We stayed there, bodies close, hearts beating in tandem. The curtain no longer mattered. The space between us had collapsed, and the tension had transformed into something far more potent. Possibility. When I felt his hand brush mine again, this time firmer, I knew there was no turning back. Every hesitation I'd held on to vanished in an instant, leaving only a raw pull toward him. The room felt smaller somehow, as if the velvet curtain had folded around us, creating our own private world. Golden light reflected on the folds, glinting off the subtle sheen of his damp hair, and I was acutely aware of every detail. The curve of his jaw, the intensity in his eyes, the slight tremor of his hands. "I've been waiting for you to notice, for you to realize," Paul said softly, letting his voice hover between teasing and tender. I swallowed, heart pounding, the truth pressing against my chest. Every suppressed feeling I tried to ignore, every lingering glance, every fleeting brush of hands, was suddenly undeniable. I stepped closer, and he mirrored me, closing the space with a slow precision that made my pulse spike. The tension in the air was electric, a delicate storm held just between us. "You can't fight it anymore," he whispered, and I felt every word like fire against my skin. The velvet curtain was no longer a barrier. It was a witness. I felt his gaze trace every movement I made, and I realized just how much he knew me. My desires, my doubts, my hidden longing. It was thrilling and terrifying all at once. I raised a hand, almost unconsciously, and he captured it in his. The warmth of his palm, the firmness of his grip, sent a jolt through my entire body. I didn't speak, There were no words left that could capture what I felt. Our breaths mingled, heavy and synchronous, as if the room itself held its breath along with us. He leaned in closer, and I could feel the gentle press of his forehead against mine. My heart thudded uncontrollably, my thoughts scattered, but one thing was clear. I had been resisting for far too long. All the small denials, the quiet self-control, dissolved under the weight of this moment. "You've been pretending this isn't what you wanted," he murmured, voice almost a caress. I closed my eyes, letting his words wrap around me. The world outside, time, reason, hesitation, disappeared completely. All that remained was him, the velvet, and the electric closeness of our connection. Finally, I let myself fall into the pull I had been denying. Our hands intertwined, our faces mere inches apart. I felt the warmth of him, the subtle rhythm of his breathing, the unspoken truth between us. The curtain had hidden nothing. It had only delayed this moment of undeniable connection. I whispered, almost inaudibly, "I can't resist you either." His eyes softened and he smiled, a smile that held triumph, tenderness, and relief all at once. We stayed like that for a heartbeat, letting the quiet intimacy sink in, savoring the closeness that we had both longed for but never admitted. As the golden light reflected off the folds of the velvet curtain, I finally understood this wasn't just desire or curiosity. It was recognition, acceptance, and a surrender to something inevitable and beautiful. Behind the curtain, our world existed for just us, a cocoon of warmth, vulnerability, and connection that neither of us would forget.